Welcome to the video why I don't rate B-twin bikes. I do and I don't. I have used an alloy B-twin, a Tri-Band 540, which I did really enjoy. Sold it to a friend, but it was great. It had 105 gear. It worked good. It worked pretty good. It had good tire clearance. I like the tire clearance. If we go to the top end B-twin bike, I'm pretty sure this is the best bike they make, the lightest bike. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a B-twin. It's an Ultra 9000. I'm not sure the exact name, but it has a carbon. I like the color. I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like. I like it's got the compact handlebars. They're really nice to ride. They're made out of carbon though. I don't really rate carbon bars because if you do have a crash or your bike falls over, then it can be a little bit dicey, especially if you're like a heavier rider who do a lot of sprinting. So I prefer alloy bars, a bit safer for most people. Lightweight riders can get away with carbon bars. Girls get away with carbon bars, but guys, I prefer alloy. If you're racing, I prefer alloy bars because if you race, you're going to crash and you're going to go for a lot of bars. And not many pros use carbon bars for that reason. Also, they're just safer. Alloy bars are safer if you're a racer because when you race, drop your bike, crash, alloy bars are stronger. Fork, I love this direct mount brake. It's got a direct mount brake on the front, which means you can have a decent, more tire clearance typically on the front wheel. All right. Zip rims, I like the zip rims, but the hubs, in my experience, totally shit. Totally shit. All zip wheel hubs, in my opinion, should be swapped out and replaced with DT Swiss. So people at Zip, I'm not sure why the hubs are so shit. I got two pairs of 202s. The hubs come loose all the time. If you're under 60 kilos, they're okay. If you're pushing under 300 watts, they're okay. If you're over 60 kilos, pushing over 300 watts regularly, then the hubs, I don't rate them. The bearings are nice, but the cones, the design is shocking for durability. So I do recommend DT Swiss. So the wheel set I don't like. I like the rims. The Zip rims I rate. They feel nice. They brake well. They look good. They just, there's a bit of road buzz. I do like the rims, but the hubs, poor. Comes with a 30 cassette. I like. Derailleur, I like. You can put a 34 on this. You can actually probably put a 40 on here with this long cage derailleurs. Now they're putting long cage derailleurs on road bikes. I never thought I'd see the day, but Shimano, thank you for listening. You finally made a long cage derailleur standard in the Dura Ace group set. Look how long that cage is. That's fantastic. This is where B-twin fucked up. B-twin have direct mount brake on the other bike down here under the cranks, which is the worst place to have a brake. Why? Because the cable's sticking out. The front wheel, all the road spray and the wet is flicking into that cable. Even if it's internal, it's probably right, but then it's going to be getting in under there, and the brakes down here is just too much road grind. It's just a bad spot for a brake. Brake should always be up here. There's a can rolling around here. Brake should always be up here. But what they've done is they've done a classic mount. Yeah, they've done a classic mount. Why not use a direct mount on the back as well? Direct mount offers better modulation, better power for a caliper. Right? I'm not even sure why we went disc brakes on road bikes for most people. For girls, disc brakes are fantastic, give more confidence. But for racers don't need more confidence. They need, don't even need better brakes. But the direct mount is better because you get better tire clearance. So that's where they failed, is they put a classic mount on the rear here. That's poor engineering from me. I would definitely like to see a direct mount brake on there, so you can put like a 30mm tire in there if you wanted to. The crank set, it's got a 5236. This is meant to be an endurance bike, a race bike. Trek puts on their Madone, their $14,000 bike, they put a 5034. The Madone's designed for racing. They put a compact crankset on there. So B-twin, why are you stuck in the old paradigm of a 5236? A 52 is a huge gear. I never need a 52. I can do any bunch ride in the world, flat bunch ride, with a 46 big ring. I've never been dropped more 46 on the flat. Maybe on a downhill race, it might be a little bit dicey, but I have to be some pretty fast guys to drop me on a long downhill, and I wouldn't catch back up again on the flat if in my 46. So I'd have to be some Tour de France level guys, and some professional riders for them to drop me on my 46 on the flat. Even then on the flat, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get dropped because I'm a gearing. I'll get dropped because we'll be able to hold the watts on there, hold the 500 watts for an hour. So the crankset needs to be a 5034 at least. This is a climbing bike. Look how light it is. They tout this as an 850 gram frame. Why? Okay, so why is your bike so light but you put flatlander gears in there? Like, it's crazy. This bike, no one's racing the Tour de France on this bike in training, so why put this Tour de France gearing? You need a 5236. Actually, Tyler Hamilton smash the peloton with a 50-34, so I guess you don't. Oh, 50-34 is all the biggest anyone needs. If it's good enough for Tyler Hamilton and even Basso, some of the best riders in the world, then it's good enough for us. Good enough. Chris Froome runs a 50-34 in Tour de France, so if it's good enough for Chris Froome, good enough for us. That's what I like about it. That's what I don't like about it. I think B-Twin have got some fantastic value bikes out there. Also don't like that this bike only has a 5-year warranty, but the alloy has lifetime. So for me, it means that the B-Twin aren't that confident in their carbon distributor for the quality. Otherwise, it'd have lifetime like Trek, Specialized, Giant, etc. So this is a great value bike. It's almost there. It needs a compact crankset. It needs direct mount in the rear, and ideally lifetime warranty. But then again, with carbon, you can get it fixed. So unlike alloy, where if you weld it again, it's compromised. With carbon, warranty's not that important, because you can fix carbon for a couple $100 from a good carbon repairer. So there's a bit of a grey area there. Unlike alloy, where if you weld it, it's fatigued. It's not as good. It's not as strong as it was because you've got heat treat, etc. So there you go. Would I buy this bike? No. Would I ride it? Yeah, but I would change the hubs, and I would change the chain rings for sure before I even rode the first hill on it. That's my comments and criticisms of the B-Twin. Let's look at the geometry of this bad boy. The geometry is so it's called the Ultra CF, Ultra Carbon Fiber. Let's have a look at the geometry. So I'll be a large 180 to 190. Actually, I'll probably go medium because I like a bit more of an aggressive setup. Let's look at the stack and the reach. So it's a pretty low front end. It's got a long reach, so 398 reach. So yeah, it's a long and low bike, just how I like it, long and low. But again, that's not everyone. So it definitely feels like a race bike, even though it doesn't look like one. But the stack and reach, they're probably your best estimates of a bike of how it's going to sit. So yeah, it's got 172mm crank, so I changed those to 175 just because I'm used to that. It's got 110 stem, which I run. Got long stems in these bikes, haven't they? It's a seat post angle, seat tube angle, 73. Yeah, so I like this sort of. The geometry does work for me, from what I'm used to. I like a steep seat tube angle because I have my seat pretty slammed forward. This is personal preference. And head tube's only 150mm, so it's a slammed little bitch. That one, isn't it? It's top tube length 56. So yeah, medium would be fine for me. Oh, why can't it be? I mean, look at that I love direct mount brake. I love a direct mount brake. Put a bit of tires in there. It's good. Better power. So this bike almost got it done. So maybe B-Twin, the next edition you can do, you could actually put on proper brakes in the rear and proper gear ratios. Almost there. Almost got it, guys. You almost got it. And the hubs, almost got it. Whenever I see a bike spec with Mavic wheels, I'm like, oh, Mavic wheels, Mavic hubs, terrible. The freewheel bodies, the shittest on the market. Mavic are the worst, Chris King second worst, Zip third worst in terms of hub durability if you're over 60 kilos or you ride a lot. There we go, that's comments and criticisms. Hopefully that's some feedback for B-Twin. And you guys, you've got it right in a couple of your bikes. The Tri-Band 540 I rate, but this top of the line bike, the flagship bike, has got room for improvement. Share your comments and criticisms down below. Do you have a Ultra CF? What do you think of it? Do you share my experiences? Well, how have you found the zip hubs and the chainring size as well? I mean, that's unless your name's no, I was about to say unless your name's Chris Froome, but Chris Froome doesn't even ride these gears in most of his races, so specs a bike with harder gears than Chris Froome uses. Go figure.